With the gloomy sky as a backdrop, the annual Day of Mourning was especially somber. In 2 weeks' time, an inquest is set to resume looking into the tragic events at Lakeland Mills that took the lives of 2 men. Many of the mill's workers will never be the same again. Today's event pushed a renewed call for more accountability.
April 28th is the day that we gather here at this memorial here in Prince George. A memorial to workers who have been killed, injured, and or disabled on the job. I can't be here today and not mention your region's 2 most infamous recent events, the January 20th, 2012 explosion in Burns Lake and the April 23rd, 2012 explosion here in Prince. You can't talk to those workers that were involved and see the pain in their face. I was with a friend of mine on the weekend who was there, who was in Lakeland, and he's not well. Yeah, it's tough.
There are a few people here that weren't affected directly by the tragedy here in 2012 and the one preceding that in Burns Lake. And so I think folks in these communities are watching this very closely.
The answers we got back then are, we can't deal with it from our offices in Vancouver. That attitude it's not acceptable any longer. And I'm not giving them credit, but it's society that's forcing the change.
3 years on, sisters and brothers, with so many in our community still reeling from these tragedies, it must be said that the response from the provincial government, from our perspective, has fallen far short of the mark. When an investigation is found to have been improperly conducted, when nothing was done following the first tragedy to avoid the second, and when it's been revealed that evidence has been withheld from current proceedings, then in order to achieve justice for northern communities, nothing less than a full, independent inquiry will suffice.
If you ask citizens of both this city and Burns Lake how they see it, they interpret it as inadequate. And part of the reason is this process is incapable of assigning blame. And so that falls short, I think, of the expectations of those families and friends who were impacted by the deaths and injuries that resulted from both of the mill explosions.